Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. I'm really excited to have had this YouTube channel for close to a year. And it was when I was in Tokyo last December that I had the privilege of interviewing a very rare interview with Dr. Yosunori Osumi, who won the Nobel Prize for his work with autophagy. And while I was in Tokyo, I met an incredible partner in crime, and that's Sam. And Sam has been creating these videos as the director, as the cameraman, and we've had so much fun really over the past year doing all sorts of different sort of keto recipes, keto stories. I've taken you on some incredible journeys around the world with me, and I really have enjoyed all of your comments, all that you've had to share. And what I thought I would do today is a little bit different than what I normally would do. And that is, I thought I would just take the opportunity to share with you my personal keto journey and what it's been like. I began it, it was November 2 years ago. So I began it, and it has been an unbelievable journey thus far. And every single day, I continue to notice transformation that goes on in my body, and I just didn't ever believe that it would be that continual changing process. And keto is just one part of a much larger lifestyle approach that I take, but it's the area that we're going to focus on. So I thought I'd start by giving you some of my personal testimonial. I got really excited and inspired to try getting into nutritional ketosis when I was writing my book, Glow 15. So Glow 15 is all about the activation of a natural process that we have in our body. It's called autophagy, auto, self, phagy, to eat. So it's this natural cleansing, this natural detox process that we do every single day. And I became fascinated by it many, many years ago. And so I had the opportunity to interview a ton of experts. I just mentioned the Nobel Prize winner, but a lot of others, and I have links to a lot of those interviews. But as I was learning about the best ways to activate my autophagy, I understood that being in a state of nutritional ketosis was also an incredibly beneficial way to do so. So I got really excited. And I thought, okay, I want to try this. And then I started learning about some of the delicious recipes on the ketogenic diet. And I thought, oh, I want to make those fat bombs, or I want to try what going off of sugar, like really going off of sugar, would feel like and what it would do to my body. You see, I had done it maybe 25 years ago for a couple of days, and I could still remember the feeling during that time period. My body felt so much more relaxed. I didn't have the mood swings that I typically would have with sugar. I was like, this is a whole new, brand new world, but I didn't stick to it. And so thinking about nutritional ketosis, I was like, wow, if I could become less dependent on sugar, what would that be like? What would that feel like? And those were the things that really sort of piqued my curiosity. And then I started to learn more. And I started to read more, and I understood that the inflammation that I have in my body due to autoimmune disorders that I was born with, that could be reduced, obviously, by having less sugar, right? And my blood sugar balancing and my insulin not spiking. And so when I looked at it from a health perspective, what it could do for my autoimmune health, from a reduction in craving perspective, because I was thinking every single day, you know, where's the box of chocolates? Or it's 4 o'clock, I need something sweet. And I like to believe that I make my own rules, and I don't have to sort of every 2 hours try to figure out where there's some more food or some more sugar, for example. I wanted to not focus as much as I was focusing on food, and not using food as an emotional crutch, and instead focus on other areas of my life. I also got really excited when I heard from so many of my friends. Like I remember when Dave Asprey from Bulletproof was really starting to bring in, this high-fat concept with his Bulletproof coffee. And I would be at conferences and I would drink that Bulletproof coffee. And he would talk about how much more focus he had in his brain. And I was like, that's really interesting. So these were the sort of things that inspired me to learn more about nutritional ketosis, but also to give myself the opportunity to try it. When I decided, yes, I had no choice, but I really wanted to try getting my body into a state of nutritional ketosis, it was a very liberating moment, because all of a sudden, the list of foods that I wouldn't let myself indulge in were all like on the good side, and those were the foods I needed to not only eat a little bit of, but eat a lot of. Like 60+% of my diet needed to be these foods. So they were lots of avocados, lots of like delicious nuts. I mean, from macadamia nuts to my favorite pili nuts to almonds. And I started to embrace a lot of the dairy food that I had grown up with. Being French, with so many cheeses coming from France. I have a whole video on French cheeses, but being able to eat these creamy bries and all these delicious, very satiating cheeses was absolutely wonderful. I still consume a lot of dairy, and I know a lot of people, like my son Christian, he can't consume dairy. Casein, he's allergic to casein, so it's not something that everybody gets to enjoy. But for me, it's a big part of my favorite foods on keto. I love simply being able to eat a lot of the delicious vegetables that maybe I would eat a different variety of them before. Now I get to eat a lot of asparagus, a lot of artichokes. I eat a lot of the bitter vegetables that come in salads. So my palate has changed. I eat tons and tons of cauliflower, all different types of cauliflower. And it makes me feel incredible. It gives me a ton of energy. I eat butter every day. I eat ghee. I put a lot of coconut products into my food. I cook with a lot of coconut products. I take MCT oil, olives. I'm always eating olives, using tons of olive oil in my food, making salad dressings that are filled with MCTs and the different oils. So it's about embracing all these foods. Now, some of my absolute favorite, the way that I got into keto, and I think, the main theme for me was only say yes. It's not about deprivation. It's not about saying no. It's not about restriction. Go head first into the things you love. And so I became obsessed with making all of the different fat bombs, from the peanut flavored fat bombs to the salmon and cream cheese. And I used monk fruit as an alternative to the sugars that I had been eating for so many years. So the hardest part for me was just the mental process of initially not eating that sugar, because it was a physical and mental addiction. And so if I could replace sugar with monk fruit, it was so easy. And I never said no to myself. So I make amazing ice cream. We have that recipe. I love that recipe so much. My kids eat that ice cream. Tons and tons of fat bombs. And I think some of the salad dressings that we've made are just such a great way to get the good fats, become super satiated, your cells get all that benefit, and it's just a lot of fun. Some of the major benefits that I experienced once I got into nutritional ketosis as a sustained experience, a sustained lifestyle, was number one, my cravings went away. Can you imagine living a life where you're not craving? I never thought it was possible. The second one was excess weight that I had been carrying around that had been starting to accumulate in areas of my body that I didn't want it to, for example, around my midsection. That weight dropped off. So it wasn't that I had a ton of weight I needed to lose, but I lost the body fat, the toxic body fat that had accumulated over an extended period of time. So that was huge for me. And the third benefit that I really enjoy every single day is the reduction in the feeling of stress or the feeling of anxiety, right? I'm a type A personality, and so I'm accustomed to waking up in the morning like, so much to do. And instead of at 10 a.m. feeling that sugar up and down, that crash that I would typically feel and that would create anxiety in my body, now, because I'm using fat as my primary fuel source, I'm calmer, I'm more relaxed, I'm upregulated. And that to me is just like the greatest sort of gift that you can get from nutritional ketosis. I didn't have any idea that these would be the kind of benefits I would get. And I didn't have to give up anything. I didn't have to give up any sweets or anything that I wanted to eat. It was just that easy. And I know that it's going to be just as easy for you. I think for all of us, it's about saying yes and embracing our happiness. That's what I did. I focused on what made me happy versus what made me healthy. And I just got healthy because I was happy and I was doing the things that I naturally wanted to do. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my personal journey, my story of keto. I want your comments. I want to hear what works for you. And I look forward to, if this information is interesting to you subscribing. I'd love to have you be part of the community, or setting that bell so you can get any sort of alert at any time.